When Beyoncé reacts to something, it's rarely loud. She doesn't rush to praise. She doesn't chase headlines. And she doesn't comment unless she understands the weight of what she's touching. That's why her reaction, or more accurately, her measured response to the Moana 2026 teaser instantly became controversial. Because Beyoncé didn't do what people expected. She didn't celebrate it publicly. She didn't hype it. She didn't attach her name to the excitement. And in today's culture, silence from someone like Beyoncé is never accidental. What she acknowledged was subtle: appreciation for ambition, recognition of scale, respect for the performers involved. But what she didn't do sparked the real debate. She didn't frame Moana 2026 as a cultural moment, and that omission mattered. Beyoncé has built her career on intention. Every project she aligns with carries cultural weight, narrative purpose, and emotional depth. So when her response to Moana 2026 felt reserved, people started reading between the lines. Because Moana isn't just a movie, it's a story rooted in identity, heritage, and representation, spaces Beyoncé is deeply protective of. And that's where the controversy begins. Her reaction suggested admiration for the craftsmanship, but hesitation toward the framing, as if the film looks powerful yet carefully managed, celebratory yet filtered. Beyoncé has always challenged the idea that representation alone is enough. For her, representation without control, ownership, and depth risks becoming aesthetic rather than authentic. And Moana 2026, in her reaction, appeared to sit uncomfortably in that space. She acknowledged the cast's effort, especially the physical and emotional commitment from performers like Dwayne Johnson, whose presence she respects deeply. But respect doesn't equal endorsement. Beyoncé's commentary implied something far more complex: that visibility without creative agency can still feel limiting. That hit hard, because Moana has long been praised as a step forward in storytelling. But Beyoncé's reaction raised the question of whether progress is being sustained or simply repeated in a more polished form. She hinted that the teaser feels expansive but not necessarily challenging, loud but not disruptive, grand but still operating within boundaries that feel familiar. And Beyoncé is not known for operating within safe boundaries. Another layer of controversy came from how she spoke about scale versus soul. She acknowledged the film's ambition, but subtly questioned whether scale is replacing intimacy. Because bigger stories don't always mean deeper stories. That's a perspective that unsettles blockbuster culture. Then came the most debated interpretation of her reaction: that Moana 2026 feels like a celebration curated for approval, rather than a statement willing to provoke. And for someone like Beyoncé, who uses art to confront, reclaim, and reframe narratives, that distinction matters more than visuals or box office potential. Her response wasn't dismissive, it was selective. She recognized the hard work, the discipline, the talent involved, especially the pressure carried by newer cast members stepping into iconic roles. But she also acknowledged, indirectly, how legacy projects often restrict the freedom to redefine stories. That's not criticism of the actors, it's criticism of the system. A system that invites cultural stories but keeps tight control over how far they're allowed to go. Fans reacted strongly. Some accused her of being distant, others praised her restraint. Many argued she was saying exactly what others were afraid to articulate. Because Beyoncé doesn't need to say something is wrong to imply something is missing. And that's what made her reaction controversial. She didn't attack Moana 2026. She questioned whether modern storytelling is brave enough to go beyond celebration and into confrontation. Whether it's willing to move past beauty into complexity. Whether stories rooted in culture are still being trusted to challenge power or just decorated. Her reaction reframed the entire conversation. Moana 2026 stopped being just another anticipated release. It became a test of whether blockbuster cinema can still carry cultural weight without diluting it for mass comfort. And when Beyoncé subtly steps back instead of stepping forward, people notice. Because when someone who understands influence chooses restraint, it's often intentional. And that restraint sparked more conversation than any loud endorsement ever could.